The following is a demonstration of TROM levels 1 through 3. It is intended as a study aid for those reading The Resolution of the Mind, a games manual by Dennis Stevens, and can also serve as an explanatory video for those just curious about the subject. In any case, it is not a substitute for the detailed instructions provided in the manual. Please do not attempt these exercises based solely on your knowledge of this presentation. A woman, after a thorough study of the Level 1 section of The Resolution of the Mind, a games manual by Dennis Stevens, prepares herself for her first session of TROM. She's made sure she's well fed and rested. She's not under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. She's set aside a time and place where she is confident she will not be disturbed during her session. She commences a process called Repair of Importances, also known as RI, which orients her to the present, which makes it possible to handle her past. She reads off the first command from the manual, and it is Create Something. She repeats this command, continuing to place her mental creations around her in a 360-degree spherical fashion. Once she can do so with no reactions, she goes to the next command, Have another create something, and repeats the same process, this time with the concept that these things are being created by someone else. She continues until she no longer feels discomfort doing this. Then returns to the first command of creating something, does the same thing as before, switches to the other command of having another create something, and cycles between these two until she has a consecutive run-through of both commands that produce no reactions. In other words, the exercise does not make her feel tired, uncomfortable, in pain, nor does it affect her emotional state. When an exercise no longer produces such changes, we call it null or flat. If the exercise I just mentioned fails to produce any changes at all, she needs to try a process of physically contacting objects around her so she can increase her awareness of her present time environment. This process is also intended to produce changes. If this process does not produce any changes either, she's not ready yet to perform TROM Level 2 and will have to see a separate practitioner before continuing. Special instructions for such an event are given in the manual as well as on this channel. Since 95% of people will pass this test, for the purposes of our demonstration, we will assume she is ready. The next day, she starts on Level 2. At the beginning of her session, she will do the Repair of Importances or RI exercise as she did the day before in order to orient herself to present time. Once finished with the RI exercise, she will now select an object from a past event in her life and place it next to an object in her present time environment that is different from it. She then notes what makes the past object different than the object in the present while she views both. She will continue to do this until all reactions from doing such fade away. She will then view the same object next to a present time object that is similar and note what makes it similar to that object, and continue to note similarities until she can do this without discomfort, pain, or unpleasant emotion. She will alternate between both questions, what makes it different and what makes it similar, until both questions no longer produce any change. She then does the RI exercise to prepare herself for viewing another past object in the same fashion. Once she's run through the commands with that object until it has produced no more change, she does the RI exercise once more, then ends her session. One day after many sessions of handling past objects in this fashion, she reaches a point where she can choose any past object she desires and compare it to a present time object comfortably and without reaction. She then switches to running this process with past people instead. She makes absolutely sure she can do this with any object or person with no reaction whatsoever before she declares Level 2 completed. What she's learning on level 2 is the simplest form of what we call time breaking. Time breaking is the simultaneous viewing of the past and the present, and we call it time breaking because it breaks the illusion of time. In doing so, her past diminishes in importance and has less influence on her. On level 3, it's time to confront past incidents in full. She does this by selecting an incident in her life and experiencing it while maintaining awareness of her present time surroundings. She need not overwhelm herself by confronting every aspect of the incident all at once. She can confront the sights, sounds, scents, and other aspects of it one at a time. She can also time break the emotions and intentions of herself and others simply by feeling them and maintaining awareness of her surroundings. She stops once the incident fades away back into the past, leaving her aware only of her present time environment. If, through this time-breaking technique, the incident does not fade back into the past, it can be gotten rid of by noting differences and similarities between the incident and the present, much as one did in level 2, as a last resort. The repair of importances exercise is performed at the beginning of her session, is repeated between time-breaking incidents, and is once more performed at session end to ensure one ends off comfortable with and oriented to one's present time environment. That's all for now. TROM levels 4 and 5 are covered later on in this series. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe so as not to miss any future videos. This has been a presentation of DIY Salvation. Don't just use your mind, resolve it.